Hello, I'm Katy Flower. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've been here before, then welcome back. So today I've got a little mini flow for you, all focused on strengthening through the back of the body, opening into the front of the body. So we're thinking back bends, but we're not going to be coming into any big, deep back bends in this practice. We're just going to be working on some of the elements that are required to come into a back bend. But also some of the things we're going to be working on are just useful for functionality in day-to-day life. We're strengthening the back of the body, which tends to be lengthened a lot. It tends to not get as much work on strengthening, particularly in our yoga practice. So we do a lot of forward folding, a lot of stretching out the back of the body. We don't always strengthen it so much. And then we go day to day sitting a lot, lengthening the back of that body again, sort of slouching over and not really using these muscles on the back of our body enough. So we're going to do a little bit of that today. I hope you enjoy it. There might be some challenges in there, but I want you to try and stick with it, not get frustrated with yourself, come back to the practice. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, I'd love you to hit the subscribe button. I try and bring you a practice every week or so, so you'll get a notification when there's a new one up. We're going to get straight into it because it's only a short practice today. We're going to start down on our tummies. So coming all the way down, and you're just going to rest your head on your hands. So I'm just going to keep my head lifted so that I can speak to you, but you're just resting your forehead down. And to begin with, I just want you to begin to raise your right leg, so squeezing the glutes and the hamstrings to lift that leg. It doesn't need to be super high, but I just want you to begin to get the feeling of the hamstrings and glutes working. So these are our extensor muscles. They're responsible for creating hip extension, so taking that leg out behind us. Okay, lower that leg, switch sides, so left leg. So we're trying to reach away with that leg, squeeze the bottom, squeeze the hamstring, and lower. Okay, from there, you're going to hover your right leg again, but then this time you're going to extend your left arm and try and lift the arm and lift the leg. So now we're using more muscles down that back body. The spinal extensors are working as well. Draw those shoulder blades together and then lower down. Well done, we'll switch sides. So left leg lifts, right arm lifts. So we're extending and lifting. Keep breathing. Good, and lower down. Okay, from there, you're going to bend both legs. I realise I'm not making friends with these poses, but remember, they're good for us. So from here, you're going to begin to squeeze the heels towards the bottom and see if you can lift both legs away from the floor. And then you're going to reach the arms behind you as if you're coming to bow pose, but we're not going to grab the feet. You're just going to lift, so it's an active bow. Oh, it's challenging. If it feels hard, it's because it is, okay? Hold there. And then lower down, good. Bring the hands just underneath the shoulders. Lift to a little cobra, so squeeze the shoulder blades together. Think about dragging your hands backwards. And then push away, tuck the toes. Find a downward facing dog. Oh, straight into it today, aren't we? Okay, from here, lift that right leg. Look forward, step your right foot in between the hands. Rise to a high crescent lunge. Okay, from there, bring the hands down to the hips. Bend that back leg. So it's just hovering off the floor. And then I want you to think about the action of trying to drag that left foot towards the front of your mat. Now, it's not going to move, but you're going to feel now the front of the body working. So we're opening into the quads and the hip flexors, but at the same time as opening into them, we're also using them in a strength way. So we've got an eccentric contraction going on. So a lengthened muscle, but it's working. Keep dragging that foot. It's challenging. Okay, good. And then lower the fingertips to the floor, or you can bring your hands to blocks if you've got them. From there, you're going to lower the knee to the floor and then allow the hips to be heavy. We're going to lift that knee, but trying to keep the hips heavy. So try and let the hips stay where they are. So push into the left heel. See if you can just lift that knee. So you're going to feel a nice deep stretch now in the front of the hips and the quads. Good, lower. Remove the blocks. Step back, high plank. So lower the knees to the floor this first time. Hover all the way down to the floor. Arms come down by the side of you. Find locust pose. So it doesn't need to be a super deep locust. Exhale, bring the hands down, prepare for cobra. Inhale, lift that chest, cobra. And exhale, push all the way back. Downward facing dog. Okay, left side, left leg lifts. Step that left foot in between the hands and then rise. High crescent lunge. Hands come down to the hips, bend that back leg. And same thing this side. So think about dragging that right foot forwards. Good, stay with it. That leg is working, that quad is fired up. Good, release the hands down to the floor or to your blocks. Lower the back knee down. Okay, let the hip be heavy. We're going to push into that right heel. So just hovering the knee. So it might only come off an inch, but that hip is staying down. So what we're not doing this. Okay, so the hips stay low. We're just pushing into that back heel. So now we're lengthening out through the quad and the hip flexor on that right side. Good. Release. Hands frame the foot. Step back to your high plank so you can lower the knees or you can hover all the way down to the floor. Inhale, find locust pose. Exhale, set up for cobra. Inhale to your cobra. Exhale, come all the way to a tabletop position. Okay, from your tabletop, you're going to shift the weight onto your right hand and knee and just open to a modified side plank. So that arm can reach up to the sky. Find your stability, maybe hover that left leg. Okay, from there, bend that left leg. See if you can reach the foot. And if you can, I want you to think about pushing the foot into the hand. So again, we're lengthening out through the quads, but we're also using their strength because we're trying to straighten out that leg, but that hand's stopping us. Okay. Good, release. And we'll switch sides. So shift onto that left side. Find your stability, then maybe hover that right leg. Bending the leg. So I want you to think about squeezing the heel towards the bottom, using the hamstrings to do this before we grab the foot. And then you can grab that foot. If you can grab it, you're pushing the foot into the hand. Okay. And release. Sitting back onto your heels. Take a moment. We're going to have another go at that. So you can either do the exact same variation we just did, or there's a progression. We can come to it in a full side plank. Now this is going to be challenging, so try not to get frustrated with yourself. Maybe have a go, or maybe stick with the modified variation. So if you're coming into the full variation, you're going to find your high plank, and then you're going to shift onto your right side. Okay, so same thing. If that knee's down, we're all doing the same. We're bending the left leg, seeing if you can grab that foot. And we're pushing into that foot with the, into the hand, with the foot. So it's challenging. Okay, if you're there, release. Bring your hand and foot down, or hand and knee down, and we'll switch sides. So coming to your left side plank. Can you bend that leg? And then maybe, can you reach around and grab that foot? So draw the shoulders back as well. Good, lower all the way back down. Lower the knees to the floor. Hover all the way down to the floor. Inhale for locust pose. Exhale, set up for cobra. Inhale, lift to cobra. Exhale, lower down. So back to where we began. Bend those legs. Begin to squeeze the bottom and squeeze the hamstrings. See if you can lift those legs. Reach the arms behind. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. The whole of that back body is working. And now, because I want to make friends with you again, you can grab those feet if you can reach. Maybe lift to your bow. Good. And then release down. Hands come underneath the shoulders. You're just going to find a downward facing dog. And let's just hold here in the neutral spine. Just reconnecting with the breath. From there, tiptoe the feet halfway up your mat. Cross your ankles and come all the way down onto your bottom. Okay, we're going to roll down onto our backs. Last little bit of work. So coming all the way down, arms down by the side of you. We're going to find our bridge pose. So begin to squeeze the bottom. Lift the hips away from the floor. So finding that bridge. Give the bottom a prod. Make sure those muscles are working. Now, we want the hamstrings and the glutes to both be working. So to help, I want you to think of the action of pushing the knees away from you, and at the same time, the action of trying to drag your heels towards you. So that's going to really fire up the back of those legs. Okay, keeping that there, bring your hands onto your hips. So this is just going to give us some feedback because we're going to find a one-legged bridge pose. Now, I'm going to ask you to shift your weight onto your left foot and then just begin to try and extend the right leg. Now, what's probably going to want to happen is that right hip might want to dip down. Now, that's going to mean we've got a little bit of weakness in this left side. So if that happens, left heel. So the leg is extending out in front of us, knees and thighs still parallel. Keeping those hips nice and in line. Good, lower that right foot, we'll switch sides. So extend the left leg, but try not to let that left hip dip. Push into that right heel. Good, and lower down. Lower the hips all the way down. Take a little rock of the knees. Well done, and just let the knees stay over to that right side. Take the arms out into a T shape. And then bring them back to center. Take a couple of rocks again. And this time just letting them fall over to the left. Good, bring those knees back. One knee at a time, just take them in towards the chest. So we're not dragging them into the chest, we're just gently bringing them in. Take some little rocks left and right. Massage out that spine. And then in your own time, you're going to roll onto one side and just find your way all the way to seated. Well done. Hopefully you're still with me. So it's a short and sweet practice, but it's a challenging one. It's going to help to strengthen that back body a little bit. open into the front body, but also, as you saw, we're still strengthening into that front body. So the hip flexors and quads still getting a workout, but we're working them at that eccentric contraction so that when they're lengthened. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit subscribe if you did, and check out some of my other videos. I shall see you next time.